Wait, question. Would you rather be alone, or would you rather come across in the forest a man or a bear? Which do you pick?
A bear.
And yes, so you're a misandrist. Mm-hmm. You're a man hater.
I'm not a man hater.
Let me tell you why. Because let me ask. You think there's your risk assessment here is that you're going to get essayed by men to the point where you would rather be in the forest with a wild bear than with a man. Is that correct? Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay. So what percentage of men do you think in this situation would choose to victimize you? What percentage of men?
What do you mean?
Okay. In this hypothetical, you choose bear over man, right? Mm-hmm. So your risk assessment would seem to indicate that you think a high percentage of men. Oh,
I see. Okay.
So what percentage of men would victimize you?
I'm not sure I can come up with the percentage because
Take a guess.
Well, let me just say first, my reason for coming to this conclusion of a bear is because when I first think of, I guess risk assessment, I would rather take my chances with.
Well, I actually have an experiment for this.
Wait, but let me just.
No, okay. I want to hear this.
Hold on. No. Let's finish this really quick. Okay. What percentage of men do you think would victimize you in this scenario?
I know the answer.
Oh, there's like a statistical answer?
No, it's 50-50 always.
Oh my.
Why
don't we let her answer?
40%.
Okay, so knowing that the adult male the male population of the United States is something like I think 160 million, 40%, what would that be? That would be not quite 80 million men. Let's say it's 70.
Let me change that.
So you think 70
30%.
million? You think 70 million men in the United States would choose to?
No, because I changed it to 30%.
I still find this incredibly objectionable, because there's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men. Sorry, my math's fucking terrible. In this studio. Okay, so 2 of the men in the studio are rapists. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying they're rapists. I'm just saying I'd probably rather be in a forest with a bear than men that I don't know or trust because I could end up getting. I mean, it's even like a conversation. Sometimes I just don't.
Have you ever had a one-night stand?
Yes.
How many one-night stands have you had?
1.
Interesting how that works.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you were alone with a man.
Yeah, I'm not saying
that you just met.
I'm not saying I'm okay with that or that it was a great decision. I regret it.
Right, but it was consensual, right? Okay. It's just interesting. Women will hook up with the dudes, meet up with them, no issues. You pass by hundreds, if not thousands of men all the time. None of them do anything to you. But you have this bias against men. That's interesting.
I don't have a bias against men.
Hold on. How is it not a bias where you think 30% of men, and you originally said 40, you think 30% of men are inclined to violence or sexual assault towards you?
Yeah.
Living _, donated $200.
That's a bias.
Big old Brian, it'll work Andrew. Proceeds to be the worst moment in technology history. Someone spike his drink with Ozempic. Andrew just wins debates, BC he's hot.
Okay,
I dispense Ozempic if you need it.
They're laughing back there.
There's another one coming through. We have another one coming through. Living, thank you, man, for the TTS. Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Living.
We'll come back to it here in just a sec, but Noah has one coming in. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate it.
Noah donated $200. Women says that she hates men. You go girl. Slay queen. Man says he hates women, and everyone loses their minds.
Can I
Seems like Schrodinger's feminist to me.
We should love each other.
Hold on.
I would like to separate the bear versus man argument with my dislike towards his comment, because I'm not coming from a place of all men, I hate all men, because that's not how I feel. I think a lot of men are great and awesome, but I also think that that's a totally different comment to make, to say.
Wait, you think all men are inclined to violence, murder, and SA?
No. Not all men.
Okay,
I just think more men than more.
40%
more
of
men than women. I would take my chances.
It's
more
enough.
Men than a bear.
But
what?
It's
more
enough.
Men than a bear.
Hold on. But even though the percentage chance of you being with a man who wouldn't do these things is greater, it's enough men that you would rather take a path that lands you in a forest not with a man. Mike Davis said, I've tried to see the good side of women, but I'm done with these disgusting creatures, right? And he says, keep females away from me. Isn't this just sort of essentially the mirror of what you're saying by picking the bear?
No.
It absolutely is.
Yes,
It absolutely is.
Yes.
All right, then sure, he's valid in his comment. Great. I think what he said was awesome, and I do think...
Why aren't any of the
disgusting
ladies
evil creatures.
disavowing your statement?
What do you mean?
You think 30% of men would be inclined to violence towards you?
I don't know the statistics. That's just how I feel.
That's
I feel
how,
like a lot
yes,
of-
that's how you feel.
Okay,
It's
so
still an objectionable thing.
How many men are in prison because of SA?
A lot.
How many
what?
though?
A lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The better
So
question
what
is
percentage
why
of men
she's
are in
here.
I think-
Oh, it's a very low percentage.
my thing is, I think more men are worse than more women, but that does not make the
Whoa,
majority of men.
that's a
but
sexist
that does
statement.
not make.
Oh, wait,
Not worse.
men-
I think less. You're taking.
You're saying there's more worse men than there
There's
are worse women.
More men have done SA, have done murders, have done rapes compared to women. It's statistically proven. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but that does not mean that I think that the majority of men are evil,
isn't this an
disgusting
apex?
creatures.
This is an apex fallacy. First of all, okay, criminality is a very, very small proportion of the
Of the people that
population.
actually do wrong,
So to
right.
say that I'm going to have this sort of blanket assessment of men due to a small proportion of some men's criminality, you're attributing to the group the actions of a small fraction.
This would be the same argument towards racism. So that would be the same
elaborate?
argument you would make in
Can you
reverse for
elaborate?
racism. Yeah, sure. So if you were to say, okay, a small percentage of the population, which happens to be this race, conducts X amount of crimes, you would immediately look for ulterior reasons why they were criminals absent the race, right?
Okay.
But
I see.
how come you won't do that when it comes to men, right?
Okay. No, that's a good argument.
Yeah, wouldn't that be this? It's the same thing in reverse, isn't it?
I think on that one too. You're coming back with some good arguments, I'll say.
It's so sad that you feel scared by such a percent of the men. This is so sad. And actually the better question is like why the young woman feels like that? Why she scares of the 30% of the men?
Because they've been
in the planet?
indoctrinated and brainwashed.
Sure.
Or maybe
Because
it's
we've
happened
been-
before in the
Yeah,
past.
maybe it's happened.
Like personally,
To you?
like
Yes.
yeah, family.
This is a good question. You
Yeah,
know,
but if,
guys.
if
we
you
don't
had-
want to be scared of you.
Even
we
if
don't
it,
want.
your own parents.
even if it were to have happened to everybody here
We
at the
want to
table.
love each other.
Hang on. Even if it were to have happened to everybody at this table, that every woman here was in some way assaulted by a man in a sexual way, and none of the men here were ever sexually assaulted by a woman in any way, that would mean nothing.
How?
That we would
That's
not
just
be
coincidence.
We
that-
would not be able to.
Oh.
How would you ever extrapolate that into anything?
So it's
from
just
this
coincidence
setting?
that if all the women here were SA'd, that they were just happened to be here at the same time, and all of the
anecdotal.
men that hadn't were here as well.
Well, I mean, okay.
Because
Well, let's
we are
let's
hot.
think about it for a second, right? There's more women here than there are men, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Is there a reason for it?
Because you want to argue with us,
Well,
so that men in the
whatever,
comments can
well,
see we're disgusting.
whatever the reason is, right? There's definitely reasons behind why that is the case, right?
So you're saying, if all of us were SA'd, we're
Like you wouldn't
here
just say you're
because-
all here coincidentally, and I wouldn't just say all the men are here coincidentally.
So
like
we're
there
here
was
because we're
mechanisms.
delusional is
well,
what you're
there's
saying.
no. I'm saying there's mechanisms which moved us all into place, right?
But what does that have
And
to
so
do
the
with
question is like even if all of this had happened, right? It doesn't give us a tell as to the mechanism for why it happened, right? Could be with this particular sample size, for instance, that because you're all around the same age group, you're more prone and in a propensity to be in situations where such a thing does happen. Whereas we could get the same exact group of women from a different demographic.
He speaks
then they
about
have,
our job.
and they have absolutely none of those things, right? So you can't really just kind of say, well, even if it had happened to everybody here, that we could extrapolate that out to mean something meaningful.
It's because we are beautiful and because we are horse. Yeah, that's
No, I'm not.
probably.
I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, like,
But something
Poor
you're not talking
attitude.
about is that men are essayed by women too, and there's a very high percentage of that.
Yes, there is.
So like when we're
far more than
generalizing-
is ever talked about. Yeah.
like if we're generalizing each gender and just saying, basically you guys are saying women have it worse. Like that is what I'm hearing. And yeah, women have it bad, but so do men. And men are more likely to, you know, because that things aren't spoken about, and it is so highly, it happens so much with men, and it's just not spoken about. And it's just passed over like it's nothing.
Well, that's certainly a fair point. But did you get an answer on this, or?
Well, no, not really. I was just saying. So, but this just from my brain, right? Is like, if you say, well, could this all just be coincidence that all of us here? Yeah, it could, right? Because there's going to be mechanisms which drive things, and so that's why when we do sample sizes, you pull them from different demographics, different backgrounds, different. You know what I mean? That way you can draw commonalities, so that you can extract data correctly. Like just, a few women sitting at a table who say, "This is my experience," even if all the experiences map up, it doesn't actually tell us anything.
I do want to ask a question.
How could it? You could agree that I could set out that even if this bad thing had happened to every single woman here, that we could take a completely different, even random sample size from the street and put the same exact women here, and it's more than possible that nothing ever happened to any of them.
I wouldn't say it's more than possible.
Yeah, it's not?
Yes, it's possible.
More than possible.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. It's just
why is it not more? Why? I'm sorry. What in the world would make that not possible?
Can I get my phone to do a fact check? Because I've seen somewhere a statistic that says it's over half of women that have been essayed or whatever.
Even if that's true, let's say it was 90%. You could still draw randomly from the street, get a same 9 sample, and still not one of those women had ever been essayed.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yes.
So we can't. So that's why I'm saying you can't draw kind of those conclusions when you say, "Is that just a coincidence?" Well, yeah, it could be. It could literally just be a coincidence, of course.
Okay.
You can have fears from personal experience. She wasn't arguing that.
She was. She said, "Is that just a coincidence?"
I don't think.
Is that just a? What does that mean? What is that just a coincidence?
See, you're nitpicking on little words.
No, it's not a nitpick.
Well,
yes.
How is it a nitpick?
She just said like that, and you just catch it. So
yeah, you catch that one thing.
Yeah,
that bastard!
Yeah. There's much more.
Do you realize that people's thought patterns, the way that they think, and the way that they discuss things, they hinge on pillars, and pillars are usually assumptions, right? They hinge on assumptions. So yes, I lock in on the hinge, the pillar that holds the idea up.
Wait. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt this. I don't like to let certain things just slide. What was the stat that you just quoted?
Well, I asked if I could pull it up. I don't have that.
But you said you think it's over 50% of women.
I think I know the stat she's referring to. It's like at colleges they say over 50% of women have been sexually assaulted. But then when you look into it, it's like.
Why don't you tell us what you heard?
I told you I don't have it off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. But it's something about half or more than half of women
have been what?
Essayed or raped or.
What? So when you say essay, what does that include?
Anything unconsensual that is where they've been touched without that.
So if a man were to tap.
What do you mean? What is that?
If a man were to tap a woman on the shoulder, is that essay?
No.
It's unconsensual.
It's not sexual.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
well.
Yeah. Like.
Do you know about sexual touching?
I have a question.
Sexual touching without consent?
Yes.
And much of that can be perception.
It could be harassment.
Well, hang on. But much of that could be perception. So, let me give you an example. If a guy's sitting at a party, he's drinking, a woman walks over and just randomly starts rubbing his shoulders, right? I've seen this many times. Nobody says shit, right? However, that's definitely sexual touching. He definitely hasn't consented to it. It's just nobody gives a shit. Mm-hmm. Let's switch it. Woman sitting at a party, right? Doesn't know the guy. He walks over and just starts rubbing her shoulders. Do you think that would become problematic?
I think it's odd, but I personally, if some guy did that to me, I'd just be like, what? Like, I don't know. To me, that wouldn't be scarring.
Sure. But if a woman said, okay, wait a second, that was sexual touching without my consent, would you agree with her?
I wouldn't agree with her, but I wouldn't look her in the face and say.
You wouldn't say no, right? You wouldn't say no. And so that's the distinction that's being talked about here is that, wait a second, the reason we clarify these terms and we want them specific is because it's very clear to me that when women in an unwanted way touch men, just nobody gives a shit. They just don't care.
No, I agree with you. I think I'm not trying to minimize the amount of essay that men experience. Right. But
this way the classification matters because I'm not sure I would consider that essay, right?
No, I mean I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
Just saying, I'm not trying to minimize.
But you realize how many of these kind of tortured studies and stats you would look at where the assumption of essay is that they would consider those categories even though they maybe don't belong there.
Even worse, like wolf whistling is
And if I will touch you now when we will go to smoke cigarettes, this is called as AS or?
You realize, so when you went back there to smoke a cigarette, did you note that I took a wide path, went all the way around you, never went anywhere near you, and came in just to avoid such a thing from even happening?
No, I didn't say.
I know, you don't have to worry about it. That's the difference.
I love it. You watch your back, bro.
You don't have to.
Go smoke a cigarette.
You don't have to worry about it.
No,
but guess what? But guess what?
We will call it as a sexual assessment.
But we do. We do have to worry about it.
Will it called as sexual assessment or no?
I mean, who knows? But because the criteria is so gray, it's not really known to me or clear to me what could be considered assault or.
Living_core donated $200.
What?
Holy crap! I've technically been essayed several times in my life.
You
by
probably
women.
have.
I don't report any of them. Society doesn't notice casual women essaying. Also, bear versus black man, or black man versus white man.
I'm more scared of a white man.
I love white man.
Why would you be more scared of a white man?
So now, not only are you sexist, but you're also racist.
Yeah. Just instant by category. But you see what I mean when I say, like, it's not, when you ask the question to me, it's not altogether clear without very specific criteria as to what that could even mean, because I think that, yes, I could be brought up on charges for potentially brushing up against a woman, even without having any untoward anything towards her. I just happened to not think twice. I was just walking by, brushed up against her. Do I think it's within the realm of possibility? I do. And that's the part men always have to think about, that seems like women, as they think that men are hyper predatory, right? Now the distance has just, the gap has grown and grown and grown.
You know why it's growing?
Yeah, it's not your turn. Hang on. So this is why, right? Now that we have to think about that all the time, you see this distance and this gap widen. And it's specifically because if you look at it, like the example I gave with the shoulder rubbing, right? You're like, yeah, no, that's really not SA. But if she said it was, you're like, I wouldn't tell her no. And so that's why it's not altogether clear to me. It really
also,
isn't.
we had a girl on the show. I think you were on this panel, Andrew.
Well, I had a girl on the show take off her, clothes and like to assault me with her. Yeah. So whatever.
That's not what I was going to talk about. But there was a girl who was. We were having this conversation, and she said there was a study done here at the local university, and that it included catcalling that fell within the purview of SA.
Yeah, I was on that show, I think.
Or were you on that show? So I find these studies that they do, it includes all sorts of things, all the way from some, benign or mild harassment, all the way to like forcible violent rape. And I find like encapsulating all of those things into this sort of nebulous term SA is not particularly helpful.
It inflates the numbers.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right, but like when we're having this conversation, and it's I suppose some sort of framing where you're saying, like, the listener is going to interpret over 50% of women are at like full-blown forcibly in the fucking, they're walking down a staircase somewhere, some random man just starts beating them up and like rapes them.
Well, that's not what I said.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious, and I don't know if this is a bit inappropriate of a question, but I think y'all were like, you were saying like, I bet every single woman here at this table has been SA'd.
I didn't say that.
You said you were though, right?
Right.
Okay. So, I'm just curious. I'm not going to ask the details. Who here has been SA'd? Okay. Wait, sorry. Just show of hands again. Oh, it's a. You're wondering.
How
oh
many
my God.
times?
This is. Hold on. No, that's crazy.
Well, no.
Bro.
Here's the thing. You can't use that as an argument because a lot of women feel not validated in what it is.
That's right. They feel.
Wait, I do have a follow-up question.
They feel. It's not proven.
I do have a follow-up question.
Some of them
Hold
feel
on.
not.
Allow me to do the follow-up question first. Stop. Okay. Those of you who raised your hand, did you go to the police?
No, couldn't.
No. Did you? Yes, you went to the police?
Does that mean it didn't
Wait,
happen?
hold on. Is this the guy who the choking thing?
There's a separate incident.
Okay. And then did you go to the police?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was it. That was my question.
And so you're saying because we didn't go to the police.
I'm not saying anything. I don't know what happened or what didn't.
Proving?
Well,
a lot of men don't go to
and
the
did you
police.
go to the police?
So I'll tell you the term, right? No, they would laugh me out of the building. Right? They'd laugh me out of the building, even though it was clear on video.
So
they would laugh me. They would laugh me out of the building. It's not even an option for us. But the thing is like, so to kind of dive into this, all Brian's trying to say is like, if you have this kind of hyperinflated number, which would include things like catcalling or things which clearly are not sexual assault, right? These should be in kind of totally different categories, and the reason they're put into the same is to inflate the number, thus making men look far more predatory than they actually are. So if that is the case, then, and you can even see like kind of with your rah-rah feminism that pops out really quick. I
would say I have a rah-rah
Well, you did, and I'll explain where I saw it. I'll explain the exact moment that I saw the rah-rah feminism. It was when when I said, yes, I feel, and you well, you're going to invalidate? Well, yeah, and here's why. You have to invalidate feelings for proof and evidence with clear criteria, because otherwise, how do we get the actual number, right? You could I couldn't just say, do you feel like you were S8?
Right. I mean, then in court, it wouldn't hold up. But
well,
I
it's
don't
not
think
just
that means
in
you
court.
should look someone in the face and say, well, then it didn't happen.
But it can't really hold up external to that either, because you're a number who would never make it into the stats absent court, right? Because you never went to court. So then, but you would be counted in this number. So how would we prove that? How could we falsify that other than...
You can't.
You can't, right? You can't. So this is why when people say, believe all women, it sounds to me like fucking
I don't think that's true. No, I disagree with
Yeah,
that
it sounds to me like total absurdity, because it's like, by your own metrics, you invalidate the very thing that we're supposed to believe.
Well, then do you not feel that there's a discrepancy between in the categories of what SA is, you even said like it's shoulder rubbing. So do you not think there's like a kind of an equal number of the people who are counted in that statistic who weren't actually, or it wasn't as intense, or something that we wouldn't consider SA compared to the number of women who aren't actually counted in that statistic?
Yeah, so this is a really difficult question, because we're talking about soft sciences. Science is only as effective as you have controls.
Right.
And that's why hard science works really well, and why the replication crisis affects soft sciences so badly. And so without great controls, which means great criteria, we're just speculating ultimately, right? And so that's why when I hear kind of these tortured numbers thrown out of, most men could be predatory, or most women have experienced SA and this and that, it seems to me like that's not very clear, and that the controls are not very good, and that we're mostly going off of self-reports, not court reports.
Right.
And so, I'm just not willing to kind of concede that that's true, right?
Okay.
And I mean, you seem reasonable. I don't even think you would, right? If you find out that is indeed the case, wouldn't you kind of have to readjust your positioning and thought process around it?
Can you or specify, restate your question?
Yeah, so if you found out that, wait, there's really soft controls here, and we can't really know. We don't really know. We don't really know the answer to these questions.
Maybe then I would reconsider, yeah.
That's all I'm asking you to do. It's just reconsider the opposite possibility that there's perhaps been a lot of brainwashing, designed specifically to be divisive, to make men look...
Why do you think they would want to make men look worse?
Well, because I think that a lot of these control studies are done by very progressive and very feminist-operated universities, and I think that they're not trying to solve for a real hard scientific answer, but rather they're trying to only get at the heart of kind of the ideology that they're trying to promote, and so they'll make the data fit the ideology rather than moving the ideology around the data.
Okay.
We can believe on it.
What's that?
We can believe on it. Yeah, it sounds realistically.
I don't want to quite lay off quite yet. You said something about white men. What was the statement there? You said you would...
She's scared of the white dudes more.
You said you'd be
I
more scared
think
of white guys
if
than black
I
guys.
were given two random men, one was black and one was white, and I'm not saying that...
Say it.
Okay, I don't think you can be racist towards a white person. I will say that.
Oh boy. Okay. But so you would prefer what?
A black man over a white man.
To be
in the same room with, to trust, to be in the forest. Oh, you're agreeing with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to disagree. I was
I'm
getting scared.
agree, of course.
Okay. Wait. So hold on.
Because they harmless.
Here, let's explore the.
Like it's a harmless.
Hold on.
I don't think anyone's harmless.
Why it's more dangerous? Yeah, of course.
Wait,
All the
Wait, can I
cycles
ask you a question?
also
A
kill
couple
them,
things.
so
Okay, so if we were to,
I'm scared.
if someone was to say, I would feel more comfortable in a room with a white person over a black person, would that be a racist statement?
Unfortunately,
Yes.
yeah.
You can't use that argument though about because there's a whole history behind that.
Yeah.
Wait,
So what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean so what?
Well, let's assume.
I mean, the white man has always been the oppressor, regardless.
Sure. Well, I'm just gonna grant
I
it.
want to have this conversation.
Like, I'm literally just gonna grant it. In fact, we'll just pretend that that black men and women were freed only yesterday, 24 hours ago. Okay, they've only had 24 hours. They've had their freedom. Okay. How would this statement in any way make sense to say, I would feel more comfortable in a room with a black man versus a white man, or a white man versus a black man? How is that not a preconceived notion still based around race?
Can you condense that question again?
How is it not a preconceived notion still based around race to say I would feel more comfortable around this racial group than this one? How's that not?
I think it's a racial notion, but I just think because my belief that you can't be racist against a white person.
Yeah, I know that's your belief. But what is it founded on? I just granted that it was just yesterday. It just only happened yesterday.
I mean, that makes it even more valid.
Sure. But what's the validity though of saying I have a preconceived notion about a racial group, and so therefore, based on the preconceived notion, hang on, let me finish the question first.
Yes,
Based on the preconceived notion of this racial group, I select this one because I think that I'll be safer around them. But if you flip it and say, okay, but I agree with that. Just for me, it's whites. In what world would that not be racial on both ends or racist on both ends?
Maybe it is a little.
Prejudice, is that?
Maybe, but I don't think.
Hold on. Let me. We'll pursue this, but really quick.
Power dynamics have a lot to do with it.
Hold on, really quick. Okay, let's remove the term racism from this, and let's talk about what you find objectionable. So, do you think if somebody would rather be in a room alone with a black person over a white person, is this an objectionable position to hold? It's your position, by the way. Is it objectionable?
Is what objectionable?
What does mean?
Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, it's a lot to. I mean, it's like we're talking pretty fast. I'm just
You're not that smart like you guys.
Okay, so do you find it objectionable for somebody, and this is your position, for somebody to say, I would rather be in a room alone with a black person over a white person? Objectionable?
Yes. Wait, objectionable. I'm sorry.
So you object to your own position.
What does mean objectionable?
No.
I feel like I've been on the spotlight for a bit.
Don't weasel your way out of this one, okay?
Do you think it's problematic, that position?
What position?
Well, your position.
I'm sorry. I'm
you
losing focus, and it's hard for me to stay on top of it.
I understand.
I feel like I've been on the spotlight for a bit now, and I just feel like we need to move on for a second.
We're exploring your worldview. So, okay, I'll repeat the question. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. Okay, so you said you would feel more comfortable with a black man over a white man.
I did say that.
You said that. Okay. And you don't think that statement is objectionable, correct?
No, I think it is a little bit.
Okay. But then do you think it's more objectionable to say, I would rather be with a white person over a black person? Is that a more objectionable position?
If I ask you to repeat the question, you're just going to roll your eyes, and I'm telling you, I've told you 4 times already. I need to, we can go back to me, but I just need like a break because I can't keep focusing. I feel like my focus has been sustained, and I need to take a break. So please respect that.
Do you want a Red Bull or something? Or an energy drink? You can take a little breather if you need. Is that?
I just want to say, I'm not really sure why people.
Oh, wait. Wait, are you leaving?
No, she's okay. Don't.
You can take a break if you want. That's fine. If you need a little breather on, that's fine.
Wait, what happened?
So all good, don't pay attention.
You can be racist towards anybody.
Is that cognitive dissonance?
Say
is that
what happened there? That's what that looks like. It's very painful. Yeah. So cognitive dissonance is always very painful for people, and that's what happens. They get very emotional. And they even men.
Physical response.
Even men, it becomes a very physical response when their worldview collides with reality.
But then why we scare of the white dudes more than the black dudes? It's because of our experience.
All right.
I don't even know why race is in the question, though. Like, why does it matter what the ethnicity is?
Well,
if your whole point is that what she was saying was that she thinks that she would take the bear over a man. If you feel that way, why is race even an issue? She just said she'd rather choose a bear over a man in general.
Because of her experience, do you understand?
Right,
because of her experience.
Here, guys. Let's not
do you
talk
guys
about
understand
her.
it or no?
Stop. Let's not talk about her while she's gone. I'm going to read a couple chats.